And we're now live. Hello. That was really fast. Hi, how is everyone? I hope you're doing wonderful on this Friday as we gear up for our finale of Chimera, Cape, and Blade. I really hope the stream title updated properly. It did. Awesome.
You're
As the stream
golden.
title says, today we're here to find out if someone will die, which is entirely their choice. But it begins. Um, You'll find out what I mean by that later, maybe, if someone dies. Um, I'm gonna just jump right into it because we got a lot we want to cover and only 2 hours to wrap everything up. So, we're gonna do the intros starting as always with Angela, today in a fancy new jacket.
Hello there, everyone. I'm Angela. I'm going to be playing Yolanda Moraga, who is building off of the playbooks of primary, the learned, and secondary, the hopeful. And Yolanda Moraga is basically transillusionist body and a reality warper. That is me. She uses she, her pronouns, as do I.
Cool. I was about to do that. Cool. Morgan.
Hello, I'm Morgan. I use they them pronouns, and I today will be playing Aldenon, who also uses they them pronouns. And they are a combination of names that I will probably say synonyms for, and not actually the real playbook names. The Wanderer and the Chosen. I was almost going to be right.
Perfect. Alex.
Hi there, I'm Alex. I use he, him pronouns, and I will be playing Tamal, who uses she, they pronouns. She is a cool living statue blacksmith who uses the Protector and Innovator playbooks.
And finally, B.
Yeah, last but not least, hello,
Sure.
I am B. I'm never the least. I am the most. The most. My name is B. My pronouns are they, them. I am joining you, gracing you with my majestic presence, of which you shall all bask in, to play Jupiter, whose pronouns are he, him, and he is a demigod bound by his father with so many complicated feelings, but he really, really just wants to impress his friends and he cannot handle rejection by any means.
You know, after you talked yourself up like that in your intro, is there really a difference between you and the character?
I don't know.
So,
Figure that one out still.
perfect.
I
feel-
just want you to
I
have
feel like
like
there's
the
some-
hat where you do the dramatic flip introduction.
I feel like there's some clear differences. Be's taller.
I'll accept it, thank you.
B is more buff. These are
Much
just
more
known
buff.
facts.
Much more buff. Mm-hmm,
Also true.
Poor Jupiter, don't tell him though.
So, at that, I'm going to give us a quick recap so anyone who decides to jump into the finale can vaguely understand what's going on. But our group has been traveling across, dealing with parasitic lampreys that take over beings with powers and use them to various things, mostly just going on rampages. We've learned recently that the lampreys are from another dimension where they are trying to, for the most part, escape a lamprey hive mind. That lamprey hive mind often causes them to act out for its interests. Some of them are fleeing out and acting out in fear, which is where the rampages come from. Other than that, there have been two interested parties in the lamprey. Well, a bunch of smaller ones, that like one of which was the council that the group dealt with last session. But there is Jupiter's father, who is a god of weather, and here to cause mainly make himself more powerful because he's a god and not the most powerful and wants to be. And he stole a lamprey and has found a way to use it to amplify his power and maybe get more lampreys. Meanwhile, there is the Skybreaker, Aldenon's rival, who is here to fulfill the prophecy of breaking the sky. Our names are very on point.
He's the Skybreaker, not the god of subtlety.
Yeah, so the Skybreaker is here to break the sky. And he's also gotten his hand on a lamprey. Both of them are vying for control of the lamprey hive mind to be able to control all the lampreys at once, while also boosting their own power. You know, classic things. Now, our group is going to be gearing up for the final confrontation with this wonderful set of forces. But before we get to that, I want to know, last time we checked in with our group, they had been dealing with an investigation in the town that had mostly resolved well. And you then since sort of got a lead of a researcher who was going to help you study the lampreys and the extraterrestrial connection and their energy. What have you all been up to? How's everyone feeling? Anyone feeling the sort of shift in atmosphere from like these powerful beings somewhere? Is everyone feeling excited because they've got a research buddy? What's going on? Let's get a quick check-in.
Fear, anxiety, stress, anticipation, nervousness.
It's
Those are all regular emotions for Jupiter, so.
great, good. Give the demigod anxiety, why don't you? Does Jupiter have any sort of connection to his dad? Does he feel the shift going on with his dad, or is he completely unaware?
I think he's unaware. He's not entirely in touch with, like, the things that are important.
He's an oblivious boy.
Yeah.
Let's quickly jump over to Aldenon as a contrast, because your rival is the other like major power. How are you feeling about this whole thing? You're muted on Zoom, by the way.
Talking to the skies.
Good job, great
Aldenon.
start.
We can't hear you like that.
Like, I think Aldenon's like this sort of like tense mix of being perplexed and like anxious. Perplexed because there's like a lot of like mysteries that have been going on that have like sort of been answered, but also those things we figured out have only raised a couple more questions. And none of them have any answers to do with the Skybreaker, so none of them were comforting answers, quite really. Except for having a researcher, which was, I guess, nice. But then there's also the anticipation of, oh no, things are moving along, and that means that we have to do something about it. But it's not time yet, so it's sort of like you're sitting there waiting for the thing to kick off, and you want to do something, but you can't because it's not the right time yet. And so you have all this pent up energy just like built up inside, and you have no good outlet for it.
I'm wondering, are there any sort of like portents in the prophecy that makes you the rival to Skybreaker that are like telling you that it's the end game, or are you just kind of waiting unknowing?
So the thing with prophecies is that there's like a lot of like portents and things, but like it's like a prophecy designed to happen like lots of times, right? So they're all really vague metaphors. And did that like sky collapse like 5 years ago count, or did fixing this monstrous problem the other day count? I don't know. Maybe. I never probably should have hired some sort of like really precise like professor of like literature or something to figure it out, but
that's fine. That's having precise information is overrated, am I right?
Do you want to say something, Angela?
I'm just like, you have a literal fucking professor in your party.
I know.
Who literally the first session pulled out a stack of books. And
that seems useless information to possess.
I think Aldenon wrote off understanding the prophecy years ago, and it has not occurred to them to like rectify this.
Hasn't even looked at it.
It's like, I've got this whole prophecy right here. Too bad it's not worth researching, and we have no one in the party who cares about researching it.
When the seventh eye opens and swallows the last son of the world, and you're like, whatever, man.
Wait, hold on. Let me just look at something. What are my domains specifically? History and culture. And ritual and tradition.
Oh, what? Weird.
This could have been useful like 4 sessions ago. Oh well.
It's like kind of like the slightly outdated meme where like they find the scroll that's on the pedestal, and that the answer is just like useless to you and you just tossed away, except that happened at the very beginning of the journey, and Aldenon kind of never picked up the scroll again despite it probably being relevant.
Amazing.
I finally found the scroll of truth after all these years.
Exactly that one.
It's like you will have to actually talk to one of your friends who is literally a professor of antiquity.
Nope, nonsense.
So
before I transition this real quick, Alex in the chat was saying, what did the author mean with this passage for a prophecy? And now I'm just picturing, like, English classes in fantasy worlds those have to be the worst, right? Because you
Oh,
have to
boy.
like do in like the bullshit essay and like dissection they make us do in English and literature classes that don't make any sense, but on prophecies. Like imagine you're
would
like,
love
all right,
that.
what is the symbolism of blue in this prophecy?
How do you fail? The symbolism of blue is for eternal life, which means that eventually your life might come to an
Actually,
end.
it's sadness, as per the French movement and the. So
We're both
that
right.
note,
Why was
Angela.
that such a stereotypical French
Oh.
like a guffaw accent?
Oh, c'est parce que
Sound.
je parle français et je peux.
Right. I almost
Excellent,
forgot you
excellent.
do also speak.
Alors avec ça, tu dois absolument rigoler avec.
Oui, c'est très bien.
Oh,
So,
j'adore.
I'm sorry, everyone who's being flexed on by the bilingual and the trilingual folk of the party.
hello.
So my character has been keeping busy. I think I got really worried because everybody almost got blown up to death by bombs. So I think for one of the first times I have been actually doing some blacksmithing in our downtime, and I am making. I'm gonna try and make little like magic and kinetic impact resistant like breastplates and things for people to protect us in case any scary stuff goes down. So I'm not just making the armor that I already wear for myself. I wanna make some armor for my friends.
Oh.
That's my new plan. I don't know if I need to roll for that or if I just do it.
Let's take a look at your moves and see if there's something we might want to do for that. But in the meantime, what about you, Yolanda?
I was kind of wondering. I know as Alex was saying that I have pretty certain. There it is. I actually was curious about trying to do very similar things. So I was wondering if there's nothing within Alex's move list that helps for the situation. There is a method to my magic which says when you work together with someone to pass on your knowledge, roll with questions.
Ooh.
So this could just be like our in between time.
A collabo.
Yeah, exactly. It is a collabo.
Let's do it. I love it.
Let's do it.
Yes. So if that's something that we want to resolve, first question is: do you believe they are capable of applying it with their current ability? I would say yes. I think Tamal is the kind of person who's like has such, comparatively to Yolanda, an esoteric branch of knowledge that she isn't aware of. That I think it's like you are not invested in this particular realm of knowledge. Therefore, you have way better view, much like fresher set of eyes on this. So I definitely think you could do it. So
Right.
that's
Yolanda did not go to trade school, as it were.
No. Yolanda was having too many anxieties about being who she thought everyone else wanted her to be to actually do a practical thing for either her own well-being or her practical life. I have a brand when it comes to characters.
Yeah.
Are you confident they won't bring harm to themselves with this? I think if she has that thought cross her mind, she just looks at Tamal for like 2 seconds. She's like, no, she's fine. There's like currently a fire happening on the corner of your body. It's like, oh yeah,
This is fine.
this is fine. And have you successfully wielded this knowledge before? That one I would say no, though. I think trying to apply anything among my branch of knowledge to
Mhm.
something like Tamal's practical, that one I would say no.
Cool. I like that.
Cool. So when you roll with questions, you start with 2d6, and you step up your dice once for each yes. So you'll be rolling 2d8 since you answered 2 yeses.
2d8. Okay. So we'll see how that goes.
And what does it look like as you try to reinforce my my blacksmithing with your reality warping powers?
I kind of think like, what are the components that Tamal uses for making like the arm? Because you were saying you were looking forward to trying to do like armor, correct?
Yeah, I think I'm just making like a fairly basic like breastplate plus some bracers for everybody so that they can have just like, oh gosh, I can protect myself if I need to get not blown up by something.
Well, that's a 4, so whatever I add doesn't work.
Oof.
Ooh. Okay.
So I think we should lean into that whole, this is not her area. She's not used to applying said magic in this kind of way to an actual tangible material. Most of the stuff she works with is very immaterial or illusory.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm imagining, I don't know, maybe like if you're making like a breastplate, she like tries to like shift aspects of it to be sturdier but still maintain the lightness of it. And kind of imagine like half of the material just disappears because
Yeah.
she mixes up what part is supposed to be the material that goes away versus the part that's supposed to be replaced.
Oh, that's good. Oh, I have a cool thought actually. If I
Go for
can
it.
if I can suggest something, I like that
Yes.
you have hit that spell on it, and then I'm like, yes, this is perfect. I can see that you've like increased the density of this armor, like, way more than it would have been. And then I try to move it, and it's just like stuck in midair.
I can't nullify the spell, so it's just the two of us trying to like pull this one piece of breastplate, and we're like, this didn't
It's
work
just
how we
there.
thought. It's
If you,
just
as
there.
long as you stand right here and just sort of push up against it, you'll be fine. But we can't bring it with us.
We're like, well, back to the drawing board. What's a drawing board? Never mind.
The,
Never use a drawing
the
board.
chalkboard. Gotta have chalk.
This is the part where the meme of the scroll of truth is invoked that we were talking about earlier, except it's her just getting it's just her getting one of her books and chucking it at it.
Nice.
Beautiful,
Oh.
beautiful.
Damn replacement principle of all illusory matter.
Okay. Awesome. So, with that prep not going as perfectly as you expected, hopefully not setting the tone for the rest of your endeavors.
It's fine.
Yolanda, where'd you go off after failing that, messing up that spell?
Uh, I think she tries because you said that there was a tree here that was known for the sap.
Yeah.
Previously, that was essentially what caused the interplanar
Yep.
rift hullabaloo from our previous session. I feel like she tries to go there and just sort of sits in a huff, trying to collect her thoughts and be like, "This is what I get for trying to do anything practical."
So you're sitting there at this tree, and then suddenly some of the sap starts falling out of the tree into a pool at your feet, and then you see, like, not on you, just like near you, and you see it start to shimmer like a scrying spell is happening, and then you see Killian and Diana waving at you from inside the sap.
My mentors.
Yep.
Yay.
Diana looks occupied fighting off some lamprey controlled beings. Killian waves at you very nonchalantly, ignoring the fact that there's a battle going on behind him. Very casually, like doing a one-handed spell in the background while he's talking to you, in the very like I'm too cool for this John Constantine way. Oh hey darling, how you doing?
Is she going to be okay?
Oh yeah. Also, it's surprisingly easy to find you. Are you near something that's got extraplanar resonance or something? I've been trying to scry you all day.
Sap, interplanar scrying.
Oh, am I yellow right now? Like orangey goo? What color?
Why?
Right.
There's,
I'm gonna go with a
there's-
brown ember. Okay. Anyways, fun fact: it looks like the lampreys are being a little bit more erratic. Something is messing with the hive mind.
Okay.
So we need to deal with that like yesterday before it takes control of the hive mind. Our best we can trace it. Both of them seem to be coming from somewhere in the sky.
Any more specifics on who or what in the sky?
1 second. There is just a crashing sound coming through the scrying. Killian dives off screen. There's some more like you
That
see
was
dust.
dives off screen.
Yeah.
I thought I heard dies
Dies
off
off
screen.
screen. Yeah.
Dives.
Dives off.
Those are two
This is the
very
real
different
finale.
things.
This is one of
Walks
those.
in morning. No. Then pipes in. Looks like something's been affecting the composition of the lamprey's energy. Weather is seeping into them, and some of them look shattered.
Shattered?
Yes.
Like a crystal?
Like a crack of lightning breaks the sky.
Oh. Well, I have a few guesses.
That I'm glad that means something to you, because We got nothing. Okay, we're gonna go back to dealing with this situation. I love you. Stay safe. Remember your training.
Will do. Stay
Uh,
safe. I love you too.
She sighs and I need to go save Killian again. And the call ends.
She's it's just like the biggest like sense of like putting her face in her hands, and she's just like,
We're gonna cut over to Jupiter.
Mm-hmm.
And Jupiter, where are you right now?
Did anybody look like they might need some, like, a veneer of assistance? Like, they could handle themselves, but Jupiter could insert himself to make things, like, better. Make himself look better. He's got a lot of stress and he just wants to, like, walk it off. If he talks to other people, you know, it'll help him maybe feel a little bit better about the consequences of what might happen. And there's a lot that he's trying to process and he doesn't know how. Processing feelings is not a
have an idea.
default. Yeah, go ahead.
Because remember that there's that blasted out like government building from last session. It's probably getting rebuilt right now.
I think they've done a good job of, like, stacking up their papers too.
Yeah.
Totally.
So Jupiter stomps his way over. Looks like you need my help. Flexes.
We could always use some more help here, sure, yeah. So you've been helping for a little bit there.
Yeah.
Mostly flexing, I imagine.
Yeah. Knocked over some papers with my flexes, but it's these biceps.
When you hear the wind speaking over your shoulder, Jupiter, it's time.
Crap.
Swords. I finally have figured out how to break them. It's time
Wait.
for you to complete your pact.
Oh, crap. Okay. How do I do it?
The swords can only be shattered by a force that is equal to mine, a force that can shatter the weather itself. You must plunge one blade into the Skybreaker and the other into his slayer.
Yeah, Dad, for sure. I will do my pack stuff. Wow. Yeah. Oh, I think I'm sweating a lot, Dad. This is not. You did not come to me with easy news, did you?
I'm sorry, the wind is humid where you are, Jupiter. No, jokes aside, this is your final task, and we will both have the power we've dreamed of.
Right.
Do it, and make your
Power.
father proud.
Yeah, Dad, I got you. Oh no. I think Jupiter has to go find Yolanda. How busy is she with Tamal?
Well,
I imagine this is post
yeah,
that part.
this is these conversations will be roughly happening at the same time. Tamal, I imagine you have like a small portal for communication with. Remind me your apprentice's name again.
Jala.
Jala, right? Like through your laboratory.
Yeah, because I have the one in my bracer that leads
Yes.
to where all of my tools and stuff are, so I just yell into that.
Hey, Tamal, you there? I hope this isn't a bad time.
No, just dealing with some weird magic stuff, but don't worry about it.
Oh, that's gonna have to wait. Look, you remember the Avatar, the elements that you fought and helped save a while back?
Yeah.
They regained their consciousness.
Oh, good.
And they had a message to deliver to you.
Mm-hmm.
They sensed something, some shift in the elements, in the way they're behaving, a disturbance. They know where it is, and they want you to go deal with it.
I'd be happy to.
Okay, I will send you all the information.
Excellent. And yeah, I feel like we might need to get our whole arsenal ready for some of the tasks ahead of us. So keep the forge burning hot back there.
All right, I'll make sure everything's ready.
And I reach my arm through the portal and give her a thumbs up.
Perfect. Morgan, where's Aldenon?
Probably with the our friend, the researcher whose name eludes me off the top of my head. Our sperm whale friend.
Oh yeah.
Perfect. Yeah. So you've
I
been
forgot they were a whale.
working, with them, just like helping them out, I assume.
Yeah, I feel like I don't necessarily need to be there, like, but similar to Jupiter, I like need to do something.
Yeah,
And I'm like,
fair.
at least I'm relevant, and I feel like since I think I was the one to propose to the researcher last time, I guess I'm the one that handles more of the conversations
Yep.
just by sheer coincidence. And so I'm there because I need to do something, or else I'm going to have a meltdown.
Perfect. So you're in there, and you are working with them, and she finally turns over. Okay, I think I've got it. And hands you a little crest. This should keep anyone who wears it from being affected by the extraplanar energies of the lamprey. It should protect you from the possession, essentially. And well, if you get it on someone else, it should be an easy way to detach them.
Oh, cool. So say if someone's possessed, I can just like plop it on and
Well,
and
if you can get
it'll-
close enough to them, it should
Yeah.
hypothetically work.
yeah, you know. How many? I'm assuming we only get this one.
No, it's actually not too hard to make. Fortunately, we don't have too much of the sap. I can make enough for all four of you, plus a couple of extra.
You know what? I'll take it. That sounds like great.
Awesome. I'll get those done for you in a second. And she just. Oh, you know what I think it is? Because we established she is a whale person, right?
Mhm.
So she grabs all the materials, gobbles it up, and then through the like water spurts in her back, shoots out 5 crests at you.
That was a lot of force, but I'm okay.
Oh, you're fine.
Warnings would be nice.
Oh, sorry. I guess I'm used to assistants who are also of similar dispositions and environments and are used to that.
Okay. I didn't bruise my lung. It's fine.
I think at this point, all 3 of you should arrive with your dramatic news at the same time.
Oh,
Also, Morgan,
you're
check
all
the chat.
here. Good. Yolanda, I need help.
We're all going to need each other's help. Control C a plot relevant information into this. I'm thanking one of my players from a previous game I've run for that specific reference. Thank you.
Yeah.
Plot information of becoming more aggressive. So this is going to be picking up very soon, and if there's time, I will have to look into this. But what's the matter, Jupiter?
I have to stab the Skybreaker.
That seems good.
I have 2 swords.
Where does the other one go?
Jupiter looks anxiously over at Aldenon.
Aldenon, still in the corner, is getting up from being hit by the crests.
Okay, why do you need to potentially also stab Aldenon?
It's gonna be what destroys the swords. It's the only thing that can release my father so we can have ultimate power.
Tamal, would you say that sounds bad?
I don't know Jupiter's father very well, but from what we've learned of him so far, he seems kind of like a rowdy guy.
He can be grumpy sometimes. He doesn't sleep. He's a god, you know? I imagine they get, like, angry and grumpy.
Hmm. I just feel like you're such a wonderful person, and you have so much to offer, and I don't like the way that you get when you talk about him. It makes it seem like he's mean to you, and I don't think anyone should be mean to you.
Isn't isn't that how dads he prefers it when I call him his father or my father. But like they're supposed to be mean.
I've only really read about dads because my creator just sort of pieced out before I attained sentience. Does anybody else have a?
Um, I had a very rocky relationship with my dad, and we eventually patched up, and he acknowledged a lot of very, like, bad things he instilled in me from, like, childhood onward. So, but he he was fully open and honest and communicative and wanting to like make amends for things. So no, I don't actually think that's how dad should be. I think how my dad is now is how I think he wanted to be all the time. And how he was all the time was sounds like what your dad is now.
Huh. I've never thought of it that way. Aldi, have I been looking at this maybe at the wrong way?
Well, I hate to put it in a really blunt way, Jupiter, but you did consider stabbing me for at least 5 minutes there.
Yeah. My dad asked. I thought. I'm sorry.
Is this where one of us takes the role of the parent, being like, if your friend told you to go and jump off the edge of a building, would you go and do that? Is this the moment we're at?
I'm gonna just give Jupiter a big hug, I think. I'll go in for the hug and say, it's okay. You don't have to stab anyone you don't want to.
Okay, I really didn't want to stab you. You've been really nice to me and you give great hugs.
Thank you. Can I count this hug as an inspire?
Yes, you can count this hug as an inspire.
Yay. I will roll with relaxed. And what do I got in relaxed? I got 2d8s, baby. That was a 1 and a 2.
Oh,
Oh,
no.
We're both Alex and I rolling
Fail on
like
the hug.
gods.
God.
Amazing.
Okay, so here's what is gonna happen. B, you are going to roll terms of the agreement. When you blatantly go against your patron's expectations, roll with questions. Are you currently in good standing with your patron?
Yes?
Do you think it's a yes or no? It's up to you.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Jupiter believes so.
Can this in any way be beneficial for your patron?
No!
Are you regretful for having to go against your patron?
Yeah.
Okay. You are going to roll with disadvantage because of Alex's failed roll.
Okay.
So that is
That's
going
fair.
to be 1d6 and 1d8.
Thank you.
This is going to be amazing. I can tell. Double once, double once, double once.
11. But I have disadvantage.
No, so that's the 1d6, 1d8. That's where it comes in.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. My
So,
brain is still
on a hit,
Yep.
you delay the consequences of your actions. On a 10 plus, you show ownership of your powers, and you will take advantage, clear a condition, or impress your patron with your mastery when you do that.
I'm think I should just take advantage of the situation. I cannot impress my dad.
Fair, valid. Probably not a good thing either. Cool. So you feel like you make your decision to not stab Aldenon, and you feel your father tugging away at some of your powers, trying to take the swords away from you, trying to take them back to him so he can find someone else to break them for him. How do you hold on to them?
Physically, I think there is like Aldenon and Jupiter are talking in front of each other, and there's a moment where you can see just Jupiter's like sword belt start to shake. And he's awkward and weird, so he's like, I don't know what this is.
Yeah.
But then he can physically feel that, like the emotional tug of like that bond starting to crack a little bit. And I think like the flame blade, it ignites, and the water sword starts dripping. And Jupiter's like, I don't know what's happening. This doesn't normally happen. And like they're starting to lose control and they're starting to pull away from him. So he's got like each hand on the hilt and he's just like that dragging motion where he's got all of his weight backwards as he's trying to pull the blades back to him.
Cool.
Nice.
Beautiful.
Help! Can anybody help me?
I'll help the water side.
I will help the fire side and just try and dim it as well.
Nice. Yeah.
Beautiful.
And I'll try to be in front of both of them and push them back.
Like,
I just imagine it's like everyone's floating and it's just Tamal on the ground pulling Salt down.
Yes, that's good. I grab you too. As you're lifted up.
Makes sense.
Perfect. Morgan, Aldenon, what is the name of your home village?
Oh no.
Do you remember, or have we?
I don't think I ever gave it a name.
Okay. Do you want me to name it, or do you want to name it?
Let's give it something a little fantastical. Let's call it the Flooded Woodlands.
The Flooded Woodland. Cool. Okay. So, Tamal, you know the place that... You already know where I'm going with this. The place that you're told the disturbance in the elements was. It's the Flooded Woodland. I don't think you know that's Aldenon's home, but that's the name you've been told.
Did we lose?
Cool.
Oh.
Have Tamal with us, Alex?
Oh.
Oh, what? I didn't realize you were talking to me. I was looking at my character sheet.
Oh, no worries. Okay, let me say it again.
Sorry about that.
No worries. So you know that the name of the place that you were told by the Avatar of the Elements to go to check out is the Flooded Woodlands.
Okay, sick.
Which I don't think you know is Alnon's old home by name.
Gotcha.
But you know that's where you gotta go. Maybe someone
All
else
right,
might
nice.
know.
Did we ever establish what our rapid transit between islands mode is?
It varied from place to place. We never really
That's
established
right.
specifically.
You can use the local ways.
yeah.
So what's the way around this place that we're in now? This slightly wrecked
Airships,
up town.
airships.
Whale transport. I want more whale transport.
Actually,
Whale ship.
whale, exactly. Whale ship.
We've just come full round to whale buses. Great. Okay.
The whale just
Thank
has
you.
a ship built sort of into and around, like they're
No,
wearing
I
it
know
on
what
their
it is.
back.
Oh, I love this. I'm just getting that face
Mm-hmm.
she gets whenever she's just super happy. I love that.
Okay. Cool. So yeah. But anyways, you know that information.
Nice. I will let everybody know that, and
How what?
yeah,
Excuse me?
we can head out
Well, do you
Wait,
say
wait,
the
wait.
name of where you're going to everyone, or?
to the flooded woodlands.
Sounds terrible there.
I wouldn't worry about it. We'll be traveling by the usual means.
Okay. As long as Aldenon's okay, I think they're having a face moment.
Are you
They're just
afraid of wood? A lot of people are. It's okay.
Is it when your socks get wet? It's the worst. It really is. I got
I-
some spare socks though.
You've obviously never had your robes be wet. It's trust me, it's infinitely worse. It drags
also-
behind you.
B, what's also hilarious is that like part of like Aldenon's description is that they're barefoot.
Jupiter still maintains his statement.
No, but it's perfect because it's
That
like,
makes it even better.
because it's like because it
looks
like
down at
makes
your bare
perfect
feet.
sense. Because it's like
Mhm.
you were like it's like Jupiter perfectly understanding the situation of why Aldenon's barefoot, except not comprehending that Aldenon's barefoot all the time.
That's
Basically.
very good.
Um, and Aldenon's just and it's just like stuck for a second, almost like, oh no, like computer buffering kind of moment. Like, how do I put? I'm from there.
Where?
The flooded woodlands.
Oh, okay, okay.
Is it flooded now, or is that just sort of like, you know, the way that places are called bend in the river, but really the river there has dried up because it's been a long time?
Uh, it is cyclical, but like not in the. And it's just like I shouldn't start this conversation here. Let's start from the
Do you want to
beginning.
walk and talk? Let's walk and talk. I really want to experience these wet feet.
Yeah. I think first I like to toss you all of the anti-possession crests.
I
Like you
thought you
still
were gonna
have
say
them.
you toss us all socks for sure.
Yeah, right. Come on.
Oh, I
Get
mean,
yourself a
I mean,
pair.
I have a thing, but I like was going to save it for when we arrived. But
Okay,
Okay,
sick.
okay.
Please.
um, and it's but so so the place is like it's really great. I'm not allowed to go back there, but I think that we're kind of beyond this point now, so we're just gonna have to live with this. Um, it's so you know my power is like related to the moons and all that stuff, right? The reason why like the prophecies come there is it's like this is a place just really close to the moons. Um, and so moons like pulls tides in and out and things like that. So that's why it became flooded, even though it's a river just actually not near any it's it's like on an island but in the middle of the island, so there shouldn't be any water just rushing through, but water does because of the moons, and it's all magical. There's lots of legends about it. I could
Mm.
probably spend 3 days explaining this, but I think we can't do that right now. Yeah, so that's that part. Also, they're probably not gonna be happy that I show up, but that's I was banished, but like not in the evil way. I mean, it kind of sucks, but uh, it comes with like being like the powers that I got. Part of the thing that happens is I get banished from the place because they don't want me around because that would mean Skybreaker's coming. Uh, which if, well it happened anyway, so I guess this ritual maybe needs some re-examination. uh
Could be, yeah, kind of a chicken and the egg thing, right?
yeah, it's and it's kind of like you just like see Aldenon's like normally they're like really calm and like even-handed, right? And they're just kind of like having like a minor panic attack in the middle of the situation. Is
Oh.
like it's sort of like getting there where they're just like not able to process all of what's going on right now.
I think Jupiter would put a nice firm hand on your shoulder. You got this. Lead me to these wet lands.
I,
You're gonna be amazing. Worst case scenario, I can just stand in front of you and then you can hide behind me.
yeah, um I just okay. Look, I'm like really worried because basically everyone I grew up with is now in the blast radius of a giant disaster, and I'm it's Also, I'm not. They're not going to be really happy when I'm being there. So it's not even like, oh, they're going to be there to support me. They're going to be really mad at me being. I'm just. It's.
But think of it this way. After today, they'll be happy to see you every time you go because we'll just simply defeat the Skybreaker
Yeah.
and then they'll have no reason to banish you.
Yep. Perfect.
Easy
plan.
peasy.
Done. Tamala's got
Yeah.
it. She's so smart.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Yeah, that sounds great. I'm sure that's what's gonna happen, and
I feel like
there's
that's the
nothing to
perfect
worry
line to
about.
cut on. So, we cut
It's great.
to. I'm gonna fast forward us to the place for time's sake, but the method of transport,
Yeah.
the whale ship. It looks like a just a regular whale, right? And you all board inside for the mouth. You take your seats, and then the hull flips. So the water sprout of the whale is on the ground and starts shooting water out like a hovercraft.
Ah!
And then the tail propels it forward.
Yes! Good transport. Very fond of this. Feel very safe, very secure.
Meanwhile, it's like the whole cabin's rattling.
Jupiter's unfazed by the entire thing. The rest of us are like, this is not comfortable whatsoever.
He's so excited.
Oh my gosh. There's little like sprays of mists of water coming up, and the it keeps like hissing and sizzling when it hits the hot iron of the furnace in my belly, so I have to like shut the little door on it so that it's not teleporting through anymore for a moment.
So, eventually, we get a like loading screen transition of this whale bus going across the screen, and eventually, you all exit at
I love us.
the flooded woodlands. So, you, after trekking through the flooded woodlands, arrive at the village itself, the one where Aldenon came from. What size do you think this is? A small village, a big town?
It's not tiny, but it's only smaller than the last place we were. And it's like more what you'd expect a village to be, but it's got enough things to be self-sustaining because it's kind of not quite isolated in the sense that like they've cut off from everything, but definitely isolated in the sense of it's like not the easiest to get here.
Sure.
So it's got a lot of the things you'd need in a fully functioning village, but kind of compressed into like a smaller space because they have to have
Cool.
have all the things they need and be self-sustaining in that way.
Perfect.
Do they have a government office? Or are they
Sort
that
of.
small? Like their governing body is just like the mayor in his own house?
Yeah, it's kind of like one of those where it's like the community center is also the government office kind of thing.
So
Cute.
basically a sort of idyllic little town type deal.
Yeah.
Okay, that's how we would describe it. In any other circumstance,
Oh,
if a
no.
word today, you arrive, and your journey so far has been mostly uneventful besides wet feet.
Oh, speaking of the wet feet, when we arrive, Aldenon hands like webbing shoes to everybody to get them to walk.
Oh,
Ooh,
like snowshoes for swamp.
Like literally that.
nice.
It's the only difference is that they're a lot bigger. So they're I don't know, hula hoop size are probably a little too big, but like a little smaller, like circular web that's
Okay.
just giant and like it helps you like it doesn't mean you float necessarily, but like it keeps you there's a little bit of a platform built in, so it keeps your feet slightly above the ground, that kind of thing.
Cool.
Nice. I
Um,
probably weigh like 800 pounds, so I definitely just smoosh through it, and then I'm like,
Tamal, you're so short. What happened?
this is
I think
This
for
is fine.
yours, I don't give you those. I just give you like insulated socks.
just to wear over my
Yeah, just
stone
to wear.
feet.
Yeah.
That's
Beautiful.
very good.
But yeah,
And like you probably saw me like putting them together while we were riding the whale all the way there, and you're like, "What are these?" And I hand them to you at the end.
That's so sweet.
Cool.
Thank you.
so you arrive, and the town looks like the weather is at war with the sky. there are rain clouds covering the entire village like a bad day in London. But the rain that falls doesn't hit the ground. It instead seems to hit a barrier in the sky that swallows it whole. And it isn't even a flat barrier, it is a shatter, a zigzag. You can see the rain cut off at various points, sometimes even halfway through a drop. Thunderbolts crash into the floor, and you see that the ground is entirely flooded. Instead of the give and take usually done by the moons, it is just all flooded, and the lightning is lingering, electrifying the very floor of the village. Many waves start rising and then crashing against invisible barriers, crackling and letting lightning arc out. Winds howl, brushing and battering against buildings. You can see people sheltered inside various places that are more secure, but you do not know for how long. In the center, however, completely untouched, unfazed by the war happening around it, is a single shrine. A shrine that this village has to its moons, to its beliefs, to the various deities like the deity of the crosswinds and the deity of the crossroads. And in that shrine is a portal, slowly growing, slowly expanding. A portal you recognize as the one to the dimension of the lampreys. And you can see that this portal, as it grows, is what the wind or the weather and the sky are fighting over.
You know, when I read like all these things happening in the prophecy, I thought they were just metaphors, but
Really
apparently
seems
they're
like it would
literal.
be a metaphor.
Prophecies are
That's
so
when it
cool.
strikes you. There's one last part of the prophecy. And
Oh no.
through the cracks in the sky, and through the clouds, and out of the tornadoes, come a variety of openings. Through the crack in the sky begins to step out a being.
Oh, no.
Aldenon, I want you to describe the form the Skybreaker takes in our dimension when they appear.
So is this like the more like appealing human-like presence, or is it the full like
Up to you.
scare,
Up to you.
terror?
This is the only form they will have, so it's up to you to
Okay,
choose.
okay, good to know. Then we'll go for the scary terror one. How do I put this? It's basically it's hard to pin them down to a quite literal physical form some of the times, because the thing that always strikes people most when they first see is that it's like a almost red mist cloud that has that is feels like it takes up a lot of space, but you see something in it, but it's always swirling and moving and like coming in and out. Like sometimes it like puffs, sometimes it's like just
Yeah.
like little particles, and but you can see a form inside it too.
Okay.
But like you can't quite see what it's. It's not quite humanoid. It's exactly, but it's definitely
Got limbs.
It's probably yeah. It's got limbs.
Yeah,
There's more than like it's definitely like not two, but it could be six. Sometimes it's 20. Like it's changing and shifting, but not in the sense that it's like transforming so much as you can only see certain parts of it at any given time.
Yep.
And but like the reason you can tell the difference between its limbs and the red mist is that the body of it is just white. So like you can see the like the white parts sticking out of the red mist sometimes, and that's when you know that that's the like more solid form of them.
Cool. Jupiter, what are the minions of your dad?
Not to pull from anime because I don't watch that or anything. That's
You don't
weird.
watch any anime, it's fine.
For nerds.
No.
How could you ever rip off something you don't watch? Now please describe these anime minions.
Unbelievable. So Big Mama in One Piece has these clouds that are kind of sentient. And like honestly the clouds are just hungry and they just want some water or candy. But like when they're hangry, they shoot out lightning and rain a lot. So there's just like angry sentient clouds with little angry faces.
Perfect. And Angela in chat was like, why do I hear boss music all of a sudden? And yeah, basically, when you see here, I want you to picture when you return to like the location that's super familiar in a video game, but suddenly it's changed up for the final level. That's what's happening here.
Great.
great. It's the Hyrule Castle effect.
Exactly.
I'm excited for
Exactly.
this.
It's coming back to Hyrule Castle after seeing it on all the flashbacks where it's all nice and idyllic, and you come back and Ganon is taking it over. It's that.
This is great.
It's
This
great.
is
There's
great.
Ganondorf mist all over it. It's beautiful.
In any other context, happy, cute lightning clouds that are suddenly pissed off at me.
Yep.
And all of us.
And here's what happens. You see the lightning clouds start to come out of various formations, out of the weather, forming out of the rain, as literal like water versions, and ones out of the wind, and ones out of the lightning. And they try to go towards the portal. And as they step towards it, the mist seems to form 100 smiles, as you're not sure which face in the mist is the real one. And it simply reaches out and snuffs out the cloud. But as the mist itself tries to reach for the portal, some of the clouds begin to stop it. And you see they are both trying to compete for access and control of the lampreys. What do all of you do?
What do we do? What do we do? What do we do?
I'm definitely going to hang back and try to study what's going on. My eyes are sort of darting all around, so I'm going to be every battle is a dancing it up, but
Go
someone
ahead
else
and
can
roll
go first.
that.
Oh, okay, I'll roll it.
While you're rolling that,
Yeah. Are we prepared for the encounter? Are we prioritizing defense over offense? And am I willing to endanger myself for the sake of others? I'm going to call that all three, probably. Yeah.
1d10 and 1d8.
Sweet.
Aldenon, while it's being rolled,
Yeah.
what do you
Uh-huh.
do when you see your
Hello.
home like this? You finally made it back to a place you were never supposed to come back to.
Uh-huh.
What is your reaction?
I think the first reaction is just like, so it's like the first reaction, then there's like the second,
Yeah.
because the Aldenon like will process this thing weirdly, but anyway, I'll just describe it. So the first is just like sinking guilt feeling, where it's just like, oh, it feels like they feel like it's their fault, and they're like just having that sinking feeling. They're like, oh no, I've got to do something, and then they like grab their like crest and hand it to Yolanda first. They're like, can we do something with this in the portal?
I think I can come up with something. I will need to check. I have a thought for a very, very emergency thing we could do here, but I'd like to avoid that as an option.
Okay, how much time do you need?
My thought, if we're going with what are each of us doing, is I'm going to like peer through the books instead of like peering through them, I'm doing full like the Doctor Strange thing where he has
Yeah.
the book floating up and it's just several of them and just reading through the different incantations
I feel like
and just just combing through all of them and trying to do like knowing is half the battle to see if there's
Perfect.
something interplanar that I could do to just keep repelling the lampreys to give us time to get to the portal.
We'll do that in a minute. But also, I feel like Eldar asked how much time do you need, and Yolanda totally like 2 weeks, but
Yeah, exactly. It's like this would require a lot of time, but obviously we don't have that. So
So many variables.
so I'll make it work in 5 minutes. It's fine. Perfect.
this is
All
just
right,
this is just what happens whenever a group project goes like you come the day of and you're like, we have 2 hours to finish this. Did any of you do what you were supposed to? No. Great. I will fix this like I always do.
Perfect. Eldar, you said there was a second part to your reaction.
That was the
That
second.
part.
So the first part was panic. Second part was, oh no, I need to do something. The
Cool.
third part's probably panic.
We're
But,
probably panicking again. Healthy dose of panic.
But I feel like this would be a good time for like Aldenon and Jupiter to have a mutual panic moment of, oh god, what do we both do?
They make eye contact, and Jupiter's just like holding both swords and shrugging. Looks over at Aldenon like, crap.
What do we do?
Can we stab the wind? We have to get to that portal.
No, but you can light it. You can light it on fire.
Yes, I can. Can I light it on fire, please?
Is this just like we like have an idea and we're just gonna go for it? Yeah, hell yeah.
We don't consult.
No.
Gosh. Light it on fire. Okay. Jupiter, what is your goal by lighting it on fire?
like this thought so much.
I want to clear a path.
Okay.
You know. There's destruction. It's fine. But just not my friends. They're important to me. Everything else can burn. I mean, what?
Please no.
You didn't. You have to specify to Jupiter about what is within burning range. Otherwise,
Okay. Jupiter.
it's like a monk. It's like when you're playing with what
Monkey's
is those?
paw?
Yeah, the monkey's paw thing. When you unleash Jupiter, you
Oh,
have to be
no.
specific about the wording.
Very
When you
specific.
unleash Jupiter now sounds like a move.
When you unleash Jupiter, roll plus optimistic?
You don't feel optimistic, but roll optimistic anyways.
Okay. So you are being brash and direct. I would like you to engage your enemies using your fancy swords.
Yes.
So it's going to be with Valiant. And since you're using your swords, you can take advantage. So you'll roll, instead of your 1d6 and your 2d6, you'll roll 1d6 and 1d8.
Oh, one of the numbers is really hard to read. I don't have glasses. I think that's a 3.
Oh, no.
6, 9.
Oh! Okay, look at you just turning
6 on
them.
one dice and like a 3 on the really pretty. Like, they're really nice. They're just not
They just don't
Yeah.
roll well. Okay.
to read. That's fine.
So, it sounds so you are trying to. So I think if you're trying to set this place on fire, there's one of two options. You are either trying to leave a lasting impression effect on your foes, which is your dad and the Skybreaker, or you're trying to shift the emotional landscape of the fight.
I know what y'all want, but I'm gonna do what
Don't
I
do what we want. Do
Go
what you
for
think
it.
your
You
character
want.
would do.
Yeah. I need to leave a lasting impression.
Oh, that was
This
what
has
I
to be
wanted.
memorable.
Perfect.
Yeah.
What does it look like as you set the sky on fire?
Ooh, what's a good anime comparison?
Also, can I just pause
Honestly,
and say,
like Zuko.
I love TTRPGs because I can ask questions like that. I can just turn to someone else and be like,
I was actually imagining final Agni Kai moment where Zuko
Yep.
like
Yeah.
rains down the like column of fire, but I'm imagining
Yes.
it like for anyone who's ever played Final Fantasy VIII, there's like a limit break special where it like unleashes a spinning like whirl of energy, but it's like a spinning like swath of flame that just covers over the sky, but like in the
Oh, this-
shape of what they're being pulled up against and unable to
Between
get through.
that and like the backdrop of the sky has all of a sudden turned like that pink blood red, just for the moment in which the flames reach the sky.
This also reminds me of another anime thing. I forget where it's from, but it's like the spiraling flame tornado that wraps around a sword that you can swing. That's
It's
from something.
It's
and I
touching
can't
on
remember.
something, and I don't know what. My heart
Yeah.
says Naruto, and that breaks my soul because Naruto. It is what it is. But like, it's gotta be something different, you know?
all right, but yeah,
Fire Force. Go ahead.
I have a question for you, Jupiter. Which sword do you care about more? The fire one or the water one?
The fire one, it destroys. The water one just makes things wet.
Cool. You set the sky on fire, and both, as you do it, both a cloud and a and the Skybreaker themselves were reaching for the portal and trying to gain control of the lampreys, and you split them, and your fire sky pauses them both in their track, and you see a cascade of eyes in the mist turn at you, almost like they're God, what's that music term for one after another? Fuck.
Consecutive. Sequential.
It's like harmonizing, basically.
Oh. okay.
Oh, that's worse.
Yeah, so
Yeah, I was like-
Worse.
I was
are
thinking of something
harmonizing
else.
one after the other, looking your way, and all the clouds in the area, you feel them stare at you as you feel in your soul the disappointed and furious gaze of your father for daring to defy him.
It hurts.
And
It really hurts.
you hear the wind, all of you hear the wind, the lightning, the rain, all speak together. You dare play with fire, boy. You know not what you mess with. Let me show you. And the sword rips from your hand.
Which
It
one?
flies up and hovers in front of you. And with a motion barely fast enough for you to see, it cuts you. I would like you to mark. Actually, I would like you to move names. Brace yourself against
okay.
an immediate threat.
Character sheet.
All is well.
You
All
roll.
is well.
So how many conditions do you have marked right now?
1.
Okay, so you will be rolling one 1d6 or 1d6 and 1d8.
Okay, I'm gonna swap out my d8s. That's a d10. Whatever, we'll use the same one. 5?
On a miss, you gain 1 XP and describe how you maintain your composure.
I think this is the move where you want to actually roll low. This is the
Yeah.
one you want the opposite direction.
Yeah, this is like take a
wow.
take a
Like,
puff
I'm
and roll, yeah.
maintaining my composure. I'm sorry. He is crying.
But
You
in
can
a
cry,
cool
but you
way.
still aren't hurt. Like the hurt, there's no lasting impact besides your internal emotional state.
Well, it's you're maintaining. So
Can
you're
we
crying
have,
before,
like-
you're crying now.
Yeah, yeah.
I want like that really cool like slice moment where like it looks like they cut Jupiter and then there's just like a little like
Yeah.
slice on his face that bleeds like one drip, but he's still there, persevering, strong and
think-
stoic.
I think you see the blade was like trying to cut where you were going to flinch to, but you don't flinch,
Oh yes. Oh yeah.
and so it doesn't cut as much as you expect it to.
Oh my god, and I'm working XP. Okay.
All right. With that, Aldenon. This path to the Skybreaker is now open as as Jupiter's dad is now occupied with Jupiter.
I'm gonna roll a d6. I want to know what choice I'm making here.
Okay.
They're leaving it up to fate. This is always a good thing.
It's never
Oh.
nothing ever goes wrong when you leave it up to fate.
Interesting.
Oh.
Hey Jupiter, you want to tag team your dad with water?
Yes, please.
So it was 50-50 whether or not I'd go for the Skybreaker or go for Jupiter's dad, and the roll says go for Jupiter's dad, so we're doing it.
Jupiter's ready, holding on to like the one sword that he has left as he's like, that was mine. Trying to reach for the flame sword.
I think like sort of callback to when you like held Aldenon's shoulder earlier in the episode. Aldenon holds yours, and it's like, water beats fire.
Pokemon taught me
What?
that.
What are the stats, though?
Yeah, it could be another type. Like, actually, no. Fire, lightning, fire, flying, all of those, it's the loose of water. So, yeah.
Right? This abides by the Pokemon rules.
Great, good.
And also, guess where we are? Gestures to the floodplain we're currently standing on.
So much water. I think we're gonna be good.
Mm-hmm. And then I just whispered, you should tell your dad off right now. He is kind of a dick.
What can I say to him? Help me, Alden. I've never said anything really mean to him before.
Well, just imagine. Remember when like the penguins were making fun of you?
Yeah.
Think of your dad like a penguin.
Probably the best advice anyone's ever given Jupiter, and I'm so mad about that.
You know what, Dad? Yeah. It's me, your son, Jupiter. I think I've had enough of you pushing me around, and I don't think you can slide on the snow very well. And your coat? Not that good looking. Yeah, I said it. And he'll turn nervously back to Eldenon, like,
Okay.
that was good, right?
Add one more that you're actually the better one. You're
Well-
the one who knows what's going on.
Son, if you think you have what it takes to stand up with me, look me in the eyes and call me by my name if you dare.
I don't know your name, Dad. I'm sorry. I've never had to say your name.
You feel the smile, the chuckle of the clouds.
Oh, no.
I am Adonis, That is not a name worthy to be in your mouth.
Your name is Adonis and you name me Jupiter?
Yes.
Okay.
Why is that what you're fixating on in this moment?
I mean, you could have done better. I loved my name until I just realized what your name was. Dad, you suck.
Jupiter. Yeah, do it.
You suck a lot. You're bad at naming your children. You're so bad at it. I deserve a stronger name. Look at how strong I am. And he'll start flexing aggressively.
Now stab him in the eye.
Jupiter, I want you to go ahead and roll.
I'm afraid I'm
Engage
getting
your
dice for
enemies.
this.
And you're gonna do it with energetic because of the quick thinking witty response you gave.
Yes. Okay, 2d8s.
Just like folks to know, I haven't actually taken a breath until this moment, ever since I started laughing. So thank you for that.
You gotta keep levity in between the serious emotional beats.
Oh, I have a response to add to that too, but I need to see how knowing's half the battle goes before I say it.
An 8 and a 6.
Oh,
Okay. So, since you got a 10 plus, you get to pick on a 13 plus. You get to pick 3. Avoid emotional backlash. Give advantage to whoever goes next. Shift the emotional landscape of the fight. Take something significant from your target, or leave a lasting impression effects on your foe. You can pick 3 of those.
The first, the second, and I want to leave a lasting impression.
That makes sense. That makes sense. So, I want to you say those words and follow them up with the attack.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
All right.
It is full of all the angst and rage of a boy who was never loved by his father.
Cool. Perfect. Aldon, how do you support this attack? Or are you just letting Jupiter?
You get my advantage.
I'm so her dad's kind of tall, and Jupiter might have a little trouble reaching up there. So I'm going to just geyser shoot up with all the water around Jupiter up towards his face, and just put him at just perfect striking distance.
Oh my god! It's literally the meme of someone getting on all fours so their friend can get on their back and get tall enough, but with a water geyser. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Yep.
Truly, this is the correct timeline we all wanted to be in.
Right?
Beautiful.
This is very satisfying.
Okay. We're gonna cut to Yolanda for a second. Yolanda, why don't you roll me your move
Yeah.
you've been waiting for?
Yeah, knowing is half the battle. When you apply your knowledge in a new way to an unknown situation or uncertain effect, roll with questions. Are you bringing your domains to bear? I'm going to say yes.
Yes.
Do you trust your ability to carry it out? You know what? After seeing Jupiter just pull the emotional growth move of the century, I'm gonna say yes.
Cool.
And do you feel like success rests on your shoulders? In her mind, yes. She's
Cool.
very anxious about all of this.
And
Yep.
Jupiter passed advantage you, so you will be rolling with 2d10 on this. The big
I
dice.
love this. Let's pray my dice rolls remain somewhat okay, everybody.
Right.
Bigger die doesn't mean automatic bigger roll.
It does not.
That's an 8, however.
Cool.
Hey.
On a hit, narrate and what happens and choose one of the following. On a 7 to 9, expose a gap in your knowledge to those around you, or your application has unforeseen consequences.
Okay. Okay, I'm gonna suggest a big move idea, given
Rock
that
and
she's
roll.
pulling full Doctor
Please
Strange
do.
sort of moment, and also a suggestion for how it immediately goes awry.
Perfect.
So we have the small lightning cloud sort of creatures that Jupiter, that Abiz mentioned are the minions, and then we have the form of the Sky Breaker, just vampiric, multi-limbed red-white mist looming out everywhere. I think she is going to, after Jupiter is like finally insulted his dad, she's just going to like look up to the sky and like raise herself up, because I forgot to mention this earlier. A mage does not go through swamp; she flies. So she's just been floating off the
Obviously,
ground
yeah.
the whole time. She's like, Adonis, I call your name because I don't fear you, and neither do I fear any of your underlings. And she's going to try, and because she has energy manipulation, she's going to try and bind the will of all of them to turn against him.
Dang. Yolanda.
Okay.
But the consequence I would suggest is that I don't think all of them go
Okay.
towards him, but they do notice her immediately. So she has a lot of unfortunate attention, and I think because of how she had to cast it, the position she had to be in, she is way out. She's way out of position from the rest of the group. That is my
Mhm.
suggestion. If the group has other ideas or our GM has other
I have
fun thoughts,
another.
okay.
I'll
Super
let
open.
you choose which one. The other
Okay.
suggestion I have is that by connecting to Adonis's minions and turning them against him, you also connect to Adonis, who connects to you.
Why do you have to do this, Summer? Give me two. These are two really good options. Damn it. Because you know what I'm. You have probably have a sense of what I'm thinking about for later. Damn it. The hell's the Rick and Morty meme about this? It's like
Okay, wait, no, I got it. Okay, I got
you son of a bitch. I love it.
I got it.
It's something
So-
like that. It's just me doing that picture right now.
Okay, I got it. So you
Okay.
do this, and you stare as the minions start to fly away from Jupiter, the ones that Jupiter hasn't killed, fly back through the hole in the sky towards Adonis. But then some of them you see start to come towards you. And you see that just before you and Adonis, you are face to face with Adonis, and you are no longer in your body. And Adonis smiles at you. Well, isn't this an interesting move? Sending my own minions against me. I must admit, I'm impressed. I don't believe I have the pleasure of knowing your name. Human names are just so far beneath me.
I've read a thousand gods' names before in 1,000 different texts. Your name isn't any better than the rest of them.
Perhaps, but the strength of my physical body is far greater to yours. See, while we're both here, our bodies are defenseless, but I wonder, will my minions make do of you first, or me? I know where my bets lie.
No one should have to live in fear or have to spend their entire life being something that they're not. No one should have to do that.
Well, luckily, your life won't last much longer. We're gonna
Worth
cut
it.
side. Tamal.
Take off the jacket
Yeah,
for this one.
so
This
I think
deserves a
we've got,
jacket removal.
We've got these lightning clouds
Yeah.
converging on Yolanda, and I think that I have been drawing something out of my arm portal, and I'm just looking up at the battlefield, and I'm going, wait for it, because I know that one of these punks is going to try and strike us with lightning.
Perfect. And
So what I have planned with my every battle is a dance is that I have a like a long, fine chain that I'm pulling out of the portal, and we see going back through the portal. It's attached to like a big like battery capacitor thing back at my forge, so it can absorb the lightning. And then as they are coming down and the clouds are just starting to spark and light up, she flings the chain up, and it gets caught by the wind and is like this sort of long, lightning rod thing going up there. So I will roll to defend my friends with
Cool.
advantage, based on my earlier roll.
Perfect.
And what attitude would you call that?
That would probably be with. I'm gonna go relaxed. You've been prepared. You're calm. This is
Cool. So advantage kicks one of my dice up by one. Is that
correct.
right?
So you'll be
All
up
right.
with
So
one.
I'm rolling a D8 and a D10.
Yep.
Oh boy, that's a 16.
Okay. So, on a
What?
defend your friends, on a 13 plus, select. So on a hit, you defend your target. On the 13 plus, select 2. Avoid attention or emotional backlash. Reciprocate against the threat. Add +1 to the fellowship pool if your friends stand by your choice.
All right, I think I will. Let me look this up myself. I'm going to avoid attention or emotional backlash. I think I am made of stone, so
Yeah.
like I'm holding on to this chain to like ground it, but it
No.
just means that I don't get shocked by it.
Yeah. You are the
Uh,
ground.
and then I'm going to also let's also reciprocate against the threat, I think.
Cool.
I think that I have sort of caught them a little bit with this chain because of its magical properties, so that I can like yank them down.
Beautiful. Beautiful. So, you've yeah, you're able to grab that wave of clouds, and there are more coming towards Yolanda's body, but you've got the first wave occupied. Um, let's cut back to Aldenon. Aldenon, you just finished helping Jupiter, and Jupiter's having a blast up there, stabbing clouds, sticking it to his father. And the mist then turns its cacophony of eyes once more in harmony towards you. So we finally meet face to face. Or should I say face to faces?
Wait, does the last time not count?
Say it again, sorry? You were a bit quiet for me.
Does the last time not count?
Last time was but a single face, a single image. Now you see me for the first and last time. Come, let me break you like I will break the sky.
Eh, I don't need to live. Just everybody else does.
Oh,
And then I think I'm gonna. Is it transformation sequence time?
I think it is
Yes,
transformation
yes,
sequence
yes,
time.
yes.
We got 30 minutes
Transformation
left. You better
sequence.
bust that out at some point
Yeah.
tonight.
Wait. So first of all, like how it looks is Aldenon like brings up the sword and like holds it up to their face. I guess I've come prepared with props. It just holds it like in a salute, and you just see it like start to glow blue, and it just and then you look deeper inside, and you just see like running water, or not quite running water, but almost like a deep blue sort of like water that's just far below. Where's the dock? There it is. And then they just start intoning. Behold the calm at the depths of the ocean, the depths which carry the turbulent waves above. Watch as they wash over me, and gaze with dread as they wash your deeds away. Witness as the world is renewed once more. And they transform. And what happens is the water that you see from the sword completely envelops Aldenon and washes over them, and then you see them like step out as the like water just joins the rest of the water on the ground, and they're just wearing sort of like this like crab-like armor. You can still see their hands, but the hands are like enwrapped with like crab claws, and the short sword they were holding before is now a giant polearm. And it's like a blue chitinous shell, to be specific, as blue as the ocean. Yeah. And I'm gonna.
So, before you do, the mist just looks
Oh, okay.
and just goes, if that's all you have, come at me. And I'm triggering your move. This is the real me. When you reveal your true self to someone, if they react favorably, clear a condition or gain 1 XP. If they didn't, which they didn't, take advantage forward if you act rashly in response.
Yo.
Oh yeah, I'm totally acting rashly in response. I'm standing on a giant pool of water, and I'm gonna turn it into a giant whirlwind and launch it at them.
Yo.
Okay.
and it just looks um like and Alden's like, I don't know, it's not just me. You have the whole land to worry about, the whole sea, and just flings it
Cool.
at the Skybreak.
Why don't you go ahead and roll engage your enemies? And this is going to be with Valiant.
That sounds right, yeah. So I take advantage forward, right?
Yeah. So you'll be
Okay,
rolling
so then
a d6 and a d8.
D6, D8. Awesome. Wait, other hand. 6.
Would anyone like to help?
A six, you say?
Yeah,
Six,
Tamal,
let's
would you like
say.
to help?
I can bolster a 7 to 9 to a 10 plus with my hold, but I can't bolster a 6. So if somebody else wants to give the first alley, I can give the rest of the
I
oop.
would love to. I'm in the area. Anyways, you know.
Perfect.
Smash
Yeah.
Bros.
Yes. How do I help again?
I mean, you have a water sword. I'm flinging water.
Right? It is just thematic.
Mm-hmm.
And Aldenon did just show you the power of water, so it does make
Yeah,
sense.
you did.
Mm-hmm.
Oh gosh. I don't have the right document open. What am I rolling to help?
You just spend 1 fellowship from the pool and add +1, so that bumps to 7 to 9.
Using that fellowship. Sorry, thanks.
Nice. And if you want, can I then stack
You
my
may 100%.
my bolster? All right, sick.
Synergy.
So with my every battle is a dance, I'm gonna bump you all the way up. Is it anything if I just grab you and throw you at the Skybreaker?
Fastball special, fastball
Fastball
special.
special.
Like you've got this whirlwind going up, and you can see it's kind of like bracing with all of its limbs against the water, and then I'm like, no, I'm just gonna spike you up there right through the center of the whirlwind.
Am I like riding? You throw me at the top of a wave, and I'm riding the wave.
Yeah, there we go. There we
Yes.
go.
Okay, that's better than what I thought. I had an idea that Tamal, the order is actually is switched, where Tamal actually grabs you and starts like whirling you around, and you're summoning up the water as it's happening, and then at the peak of it is just fire away.
Yeah,
It could be
yeah.
both. I think it could be
It's both. It's both. We got
Both.
the hammer throw. We got the wave rider.
No,
We're
those.
good.
And then how does Jupiter like manipulate the water to like contribute to this torrential tide?
I think that he's just like, it's almost like that water bending motion. I just shook my whole table. But like with his sword, almost where he's like harnessing more of the water to like add to the strength that you have. Really good core strength. If any of his abs were showing, you would just see them flexed really, really hard.
They're definitely
Have they ever-
glistening with the water.
So it's
I was about to
swamp
ask-
water, but still.
I was about to ask, are they ever not showing?
No, they're always showing.
Fair. So, on a 10 plus with engage your enemies, select 2. Avoid emotional backlash, give advantage to whoever engages next, shift the emotional landscape of the fight, or take something significant from your target, or leave a lasting impression or effect on your foe.
So I have one. I'm not sure which category it falls under.
Okay, go
but
ahead.
It definitely is like the Skybreaker kind of feels like they're holding all the cards here, but like kind of like because before it was just like them against Adonis. Now Adonis is falling, so it's like, oh, I'm now the one in ascendance, and now we're kind of like upending like his control of the situation.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that's making a lasting impression or changing the emotional landscape of the fight. But
It's changing
like,
the
that's
emotional
kind of
landscape of the fight, I think.
okay, because I think that's the thing I want to like hit for sure.
Cool.
Now it's hopeful.
And then I get, did you say 3 options for this? Or 2?
Yeah.
I've missed
So you get a second option.
a second option. Okay, let me pull up the doc so I can just repeat it again. It's easier when I have it. Why did I look at the wrong doc? There we go. Is there something significant I can take?
control over the sky.
The sky, their mist form,
Maybe?
access to a portal.
Ooh, you could reveal them. Ooh.
Yeah.
Access to the portal. That was kind of what I was thinking of. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Cool.
It's like, yeah, access to the portal sounds right. That's what I want.
Cool. So you launch yourself at them, and they realize that you are actually a threat. And in that moment, the whirlwind keeps shooting past them and surrounds the portal, creating a barrier around it. But you didn't take avoid emotional backlash, and also you
Oh,
shifted
no,
the
I-
landscape
that's-
to them being desperate.
Okay.
And
yeah.
the mist form below you starts to envelop you as it starts to thrash out against you. Fine. Let's see how you handle my full power. If you are the prophesized one, let's see how you handle your responsibility. All of you,
Oh, no.
outside.
Responsibility.
you see something happen. We're going to cut to Yolanda's perspective because you're away from the fight for a second.
Why
But
the fuck
even
is this-
in your
this-
domain, you hear a cracking. You hear the universe splitting. Because this is where Jupiter, or Adonis is. Adonis is a god of weather, and he feels the sky begin to break. And Adonis looks at you. You seem like a clever sort. Do you realize what is happening outside right now? The end of the world is coming. And I can stop it. I can happily dispatch of the Skybreaker. But if you keep me here, there will be no world for you to return to even if you survive.
So long as you're not there, I'm certain that my friends can cover whatever's happening out there. So long as I keep you here, this is worth it.
What friends? And he is going to just whip a hand, and you see a version of the battle. Not the version that is happening, but you see cliffs. You see the Skybreaker begin to envelop and consume Aldenon. You see Jupiter getting hit by clouds. You see Tamal drowning in the swamp. Those friends, they can barely keep themselves together. Those friends, you mean my son who was willing to stab you in a second? Those friends? What, a being made of stone and a person banished from their own home? What friends? Friends who tell you nothing, friends who keep secrets. They're not friends. They're useless, worthless humans just like you. Or worthless, useless beings, mortals just like yourself. But you look like a smart one. You look like you know what needs to be done. After all, you wouldn't try to take me out if you didn't recognize my power. Well, here I am, offering my power to help save the world. Why don't you take it? If you care about your friends truly, you know it's the right thing to do.
Are you finished?
Haha.
I've had 30 plus years of lies that I've told myself and a lot of practice with taking on people's bullshit. And you have the gall to have a master of illusion face an illusory perspective on how this could all go. You gave your son far too little credit. It's far kinder, and at this point, given that you're throwing an illusion at a master of illusions, far more clever than you will ever be.
What is it you want?
I want you to take your sorry divine ass out of here and to leave him alone. He's earned this power, regardless if you gave it to him with your own selfish purpose in mind. He's earned it. He's already done more good in a few weeks and a few months than I'm certain you've ever done in all of your selfish existence.
You realize the pact between us is more than just the pact of a parent and a child. It is a pact ancient, more ancient than you can even comprehend. A pact that cannot simply be broken.
She summons a book in her hand. You mean like the ones that I've already looked up?
Go ahead and roll state your case with advantage.
Oh,
This is
State
gonna
that
be
case.
I think this is logical because she's pointing out all the
Yes.
things that are wrong in what he's trying
Yes.
to do.
so that's going to
Like-
be logical. So that's D10 and D8 because you have advantage.
Okay. Let's hope this roll actually backs up this
come on,
fantastic.
come on.
Come on. The love of all that is actually not. I was about to say love is all holy, but this is exactly the thing I don't want it to be as holy.
Yeah.
Right.
16.
Yes!
Wow. Damn.
A 9 and a 7. A 9 on the D10 and a
Hell
7
yeah.
on the D8.
Hell yeah.
He stares at you. Fine. That is what you want. I can leave, but I cannot give you the other half. Only Jupiter can. And Jupiter, you're in the middle of slicing some clouds, and suddenly, you are in a mindscape. You just get plopped next to your father and Yolanda.
Did I die?
You're not dead.
Okay.
I might
thank
be
you.
soon, but we're about to figure that part out. Don't worry about that part.
Okay.
Very well. I agree. Once we're out of here, I will leave for now. Until something more worthwhile of my attention appears.
What's happening?
But if you want the pact reversed, you will need him to agree.
What am I
Jupiter,
agreeing to?
Jupiter, I'll say this as simply as I can. This is your choice. Do you want to still hold on to the pact with your dad and try and live up to what he expects of you, to what you want from him? Do you want to live up to what someone else wants you to be? Or do you want to make your own path?
I mean, I have never been able to live up to the expectations that he has set. I am not great enough. I am not strong enough. I am not smart enough. I am not cunning enough. I have worked my whole entire life to be something that I'm not. And then I made friends who just accepted me for the goofy, accident-prone guy that I was. And I didn't realize what it was like to be respected. Truly, actually respected. So Yolanda, Dad, I want to end this pact.
Well, there you have it. The final component you need.
Meta question for our GM. What kind of strain would this be on Yolanda to do this kind of thing? Because full disclosure, I rolled earlier in secret to Amr about getting this information. That's why I saved it. So, but we did not discuss what the actual cost on Yolanda would be to do this kind of thing.
Cool. Because if you're cool with it, I think this would be the type of strain that would lead to the superheroic sacrifice move. Where if you choose, where it is the type of strain, or let me read the move. Once per session, when you stand up for what you believe by taking action that should lead to your certain demise, describe how you step forward and leave your mark on the conflict. Then pick one from the list below and cross it out.
Nice.
The options are: stand tall and weather the blows. You suffer long-term effects. You narrowly avoid certain death. An outside force intervenes. You're brought back from the brink. You die for now, or you die permanently.
I have. I'm going to suggest one thing for armor that I think would be cool as
Okay.
a really gay way to approach this. So that should hopefully be a good selling point for this.
That's all. That's all. You already got me.
I would like to imagine, like with the tear that's happened, we don't know necessarily what has been going in and out of it. I would like to suggest that the third person from the polycule of my mentors steps through and sees the situation and keeps me from breaking myself entirely, because I was imagining
Cool.
like her doing this would be like for anyone who's ever played Chrono Trigger, the moment
Yes.
when the thing happens to one of the major important characters and you have to go through a whole quest to bring him back. That element, essentially, character dies. I'm not saying which character, but dies in a really like epic heroic fashion and is like a molecule eliminated. That's how I was imagining for her to go.
Whoa.
Cool.
But this one is more like she's like you're seeing her just like do the fading away thing, and then something happens,
Cool. So you're picking with a third party.
intervenes.
Yeah. You're cool. An outside force intervenes. What is the name
Yes.
of your other parental figure?
I'm going to say Nady. Neidy. Nady.
Maybe. Okay. And do you have a personality descriptor?
Uh, aggressively caring,
Aggressively caring.
as opposed to Tamals, who's just like super sweet all the time, but
Mhm.
doesn't necessarily understand how fucking strong
Yeah.
they are all the time. This one,
Uh-huh.
she's just like, I know you're doing poorly, dear,
Okay.
and you won't listen to me, is already forcibly putting you into the bed and wrapping you
Yep.
like
Yep.
a
Yep.
burrito
Yep.
in
Yep. Yep.
blankets.
Okay. I
That
know
kind of
exactly the
person.
type. Perfect. I can channel my grandma energy. I can do that. Yolanda, describe what you do as you start casting the spell to break the pact.
I think you watch as fire and ice just sort of meld together and form like a duplicate of Jupiter
Mm.
that looks as though it's had like a tether of the elements of swirling fire and water connected to Adonis. And then she just like brings her hands down and like cuts it and severs that connection.
Mm-hmm.
But doing it like you just see like I'm imagining like parts of her fingers like are slowly like beginning to just fade away,
Yeah.
become like the elements, like she's fading into part of it.
Yeah. I mean, you are in this realm where your physical body is behind, so I feel like your soul or whatever is in here might be subsumed into the stream as you are cutting it. It is forming the tear with your literal magic essence. Tamal, outside, you watch as Yolanda's body begins to fall. And Yolanda, you start falling further and further into the tear. Your arm goes, most of your body starts to disappear. And all that's left is one hand. And suddenly, you feel a force grab onto it. Well, now this won't do. I leave for what, a couple years and you go off and die on me? Get back over here, Yolanda. I can't only hug one arm, I need all of you for that. And the camera pans out as we see your third parental figure as she begins to pull and unravel the spell. And as she's doing that, she is chanting in a beautiful sing-song voice. But it is a voice that is both laced with love and care, but also power and strength. And these words begin to intertwine into your spell, keeping it in place while pulling your magic essence out of it. And as she does that, the spell completes. She pulls you into a hug, and the tether behind you shatters. Adonis looks over. Well, this was unexpected. No matter. Snaps his finger, and you are back in your body.
Just like probably like The simplest way I think her facial expression is just Loki post Hulk smash. She's just like, everything hurts.
We will deal with that in a second. We are gonna cut over. Morgan, Aldenon, you hear above you. Because when Yolanda and Jupiter, when you turn to your bodies, you look up and you see the sky break. It is broken and cracking above you. It looks like a bad Hollywood set piece being torn apart in front of your eyes. It looks like the very fabric of the universe is being turned to shreds and remolded in the image of the Skybreaker as mist begins to pour out of the cracks in the universe. Aldenon, you know this is the moment you've been waiting for. This is the moment you prove yourself. What do you do?
So I want to also invoke the Let me double check which move this is. The move time terrain on your parade.
Yeah.
No,
Amazing.
No, the other one. Sorry, history's best left forgot. That's what it is.
There it is. Oh
Wait,
my
what?
word.
Wait, what? What is this move? I must know.
History is best left forgotten, and that goes against everything Yolanda stands for.
So,
To read out the move for the audience, when you draw upon
Yes.
things learned from your original home to attempt a task, you roll with advantage. If you do so, you must confront your past or make it publicly known to those present. Oh, I wonder what's happening here.
Hello, past. Currently choking me.
yeah. So that's what I want to invoke for advantage. Is that what I said before about this being a place close to the moons? Yeah. And well, that's where I draw my power from. This is where I'm strongest. And I think what I want to happen is when the sky breaks, it looks like it's at first being remade to Skybreaker's image, and then the sky rips open, and then just the ocean starts falling down. It's getting washed away in my image.
That's perfect. You are using, without a doubt, your focus move when you try to push the limits of your power in a time of need.
Yep.
Roll with narrative attitude.
Okay. I want to say relaxed.
Interesting.
thinking. Let me
I'd like
look
to
at
hear your
them.
argument.
Right? Why?
What's it
So I'm
look like?
thinking,
Like calm
This
before
is-
the storm? Like,
yeah, I'm thinking this is me in my element. I'm literally at the center of my nexus of power,
I love that.
and like this is where I like know where I am and know where I belong and the home I've always wanted to be,
I love that.
and I couldn't before, and that's why I think it's
Go ahead and roll 1d10 and 1d8.
I don't know why, but my comparison point for this moment for Aldenon was just the moment from Kung Fu Panda 2 where he's like, I have attained perfect enlightenment and reflects the firework shot back. It's just one of these
Amazing.
moments of like, I know that this is all going to be all right.
Mm-hmm.
9.
Okay. On a 7 to 9, choose one. What can I do to better understand blank? What do you know about blank that would help us here? Or what am I doing wrong when dealing with blank?
I might be able to throw a little help on there
Yeah,
since we've
come on,
got
why don't you
some
throw some
points left. So I think part of the problem of dealing with the Skybreaker is this like mist shrouding it and stuff, right?
Yeah.
So I think since I am sort of down on the ground below it, I opened up my my brazier portal in my tummy to the forge, and just like let not like a gout of fire, but just like a heat, like a wave of a rippling heat comes up and out of it, and starts to eat away at that mist.
Mm-hmm. Beautiful. All right. So on 10 plus, you get to ask 2 of those.
yeah. We're such a good team.
All right, I'm gonna start with what am I doing wrong when dealing with the Skybreaker. I'm gonna start there.
I think I will let you decide. But I think there's a part of the prophecy of how to beat the Skybreaker that you are not remembering, or that you have not been paying as much credence to as you should have been.
Yeah. Okay.
I think you've been focusing a lot on the physical form,
Yes.
and
Oh, okay.
I think you realize your job was to fight the minions of the Skybreaker, but it's not to kill the Skybreaker necessarily, but rather to mend the damage done. I mean, you can kill them too, but your main prophesized goal is to fix the tears in the sky.
Yeah. No, I'm just thinking how the right way to interpret this. Because I'm thinking, Because, like, the prophecy doesn't... Yeah, it's, like, not about slaying, necessarily, someone. I mean, it's a bit about undoing the works,
Mm-hmm.
but it's also, like... The Skybreaker is kind of like an invader, so it's almost like kicking them out of here,
Yeah.
in a way. I wonder if I can use those cracks against him.
That
What?
seems neat.
That could be fun. Okay, so second question.
Yeah.
Let's see. What do you know about? Ooh, let's do a little sideways here. What do you know about that the shrine that's in this town that
Ooh.
will
Yes.
use to help us here?
Mm.
You know that the shrine is the sort of center point of the power in the village, and it is centered there because it is closest to all the moons simultaneously, which makes it the point in the village where you would be the most powerful.
Okay.
And it's why the portal is opening there, because it's where magic's most powerful.
Uh-huh. Awesome.
How do you want to act on this, as we sort of, looks at the time, getting into our final moment?
Yeah. Well, I think. Well, I guess everyone's around me now. I just kind of look, just to everybody and be like, I haven't always, like, told you everything or trusted you, and like, I'm really sorry because I've just always been afraid of losing people close to me, of like getting you all involved in gestures at sky breaking.
Pointing at my dad, or are you pointing at the Skybreaker?
The cracks there.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no worries. And I'm sorry, and I know that's not going to cut it now, but I need to ask you all for help for something. I need you all to cover me for a minute. I
Anything.
need to get to the shrine.
Yeah. Yeah. Tamal? Yolanda?
I just took a reality sucker punch to the soul, but I'm ready to go.
Yeah, you look rough.
It's fine. It's fine. Everything hurts. It's fine. This is fine.
good.
There's
I mean,
hot
I have-
springs.
Tamal,
we
you have a
can
couple of
bring you back.
holds that might help out here if you
I
want
do
to
have a
like let
couple
the
of
others
holds,
rest for a
so I
minute.
think, yeah, just to get a cool anime moment in real quick, I'm gonna spend a hold to temporarily disable one of my opponent's abilities. So I'm like gonna look around at everyone and nod and say, "All right, I'll be right back." And I do just like the most anime like ground cracking leap up into the air, and then I'm just like hanging in the air before the form of the Skybreaker. And in that moment where I'm just like hanging there, I say, "Hi, we don't know each other really well, but you should know that when I have spare time on my hands, I like to make swords." And I reach into the bracer of my arm and I reach into the furnace in my belly at the same time. And I pull out these two just like ridiculous claymores. And then I stab one into one of its arms and stab one into another one of its arms. And then I do it again. And I just keep pulling out swords and keep stabbing it just relentlessly. Stab, sword, sword, just piercing it over and over and over, weighing its body down with this mass of iron, holding myself up by sticking swords into it over and over.
Perfect.
Yeah.
When your character is a literal walking armory.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Would you like to use any of your other holds at this point?
Let's say that I'm gonna predict and prevent an opponent's next move against an ally. I
Cool.
think probably
I'll
seems
give
good
you.
at this
I'll,
time.
I'll give you like a minute. We'll go with Eldon a bit, and then I will cut back to you and ask you to say what does the Skybreaker do, and how you
Cool.
counter it.
Or if you can think up a cool thing for it to do, I can say how I prevent it.
Yeah, I will think on it as well, but I will let you as well since you're predicting their move. I can give you
Sweet.
that option. All right, Aldenon. You ask for help, and Tamal is immediately in there, stabbing the Skybreaker down and pinning them in place. What do?
First, admire, and be like, um, that was one of the most awesome things I've ever seen. Oh, right, I think so too. And I'd start, not running, swimming towards the shrine.
Yes.
Beautiful. Yeah, you make it towards the shrine. Your water curtain is around it. You can just go through it since you control it if you wish.
Yeah. I think I'm just gonna slide through or swim through and just get. We're gonna just get right into the heart of this thing.
You find yourself face to face with the portal. Some lampreys jump out at you, but they're immediately rebuffed back by the shields you have.
Yay, thinking ahead, but I didn't realize I was. Hooray! Yeah. So what does it look like in there?
In here, it is a shrine. I like the idea that it is a series of mirrors designed to focus all the moonlight from all the various moons into a single point.
Okay. Cool.
And I think a lot of them are not just like glass mirrors, but water designed to refract the light at angles, since it is a flooded area. And because I'm a science nerd, and because this is just who I am.
Yeah. I think. Ooh, okay. So I think they're probably like angled pools, right? Like that are all like on the ground around, and they're reflecting the light sort of in
Yeah.
maybe some sort of like translucent like water crystal thing that's like
Ooh.
on a platform.
Yeah.
Or not on a platform. I think it's just floating there. Floating's
Cool.
fun.
Oof.
And I want to just step under it
Okay.
and just take the point of my pole arm and just poke the bottom and just channel everything into this crystal for one big last boom.
Cool. So, I will give you two options. You can either embrace your chimera or superheroic sacrifice.
Good question.
I mean, consider your odds. Do you think this is a moment in which you have to sacrifice yourself? And I know, like, you wanted a moment of sacrifice, but like Jupiter is going to be very sad.
Yeah. I mean, let's just risk it. I've got advantage on this roll.
Go ahead and roll then. This is going to be with, I think, looks at the embrace options. Optimistic.
I don't know if that
I
was
like
a good
that.
one.
It's kind of beautiful.
Let's see what
So
we got.
that's a D8
Oh,
and a
this is-
D10. That's good for
This
you,
is the one
actually.
that's good. Question: Does double advantage stack here?
We will say for this case, sure, you can take 2D10. Normally, no, but
Fascinating. Because answer one is well using the shrine, and then answer two is, well, we're just gonna wash everything away because I'm the power of the tides, and two, I'm going to wash the Skybreaker out of here.
yeah,
Or that's the goal anyway. Fortunately, I only have one D10 on me, so I'm gonna have to roll this twice.
cool. First one. Is that a 10 on the die?
No, it's a 9 though.
Okay.
Okay.
Basically.
And-
Shoot space. Yeah, it's basically 10.
Yeah.
All right, what's the second one?
A 4.
All right, that's a 13. Cool. On embrace your chimera. On a 13 plus, you either get something extra, or on a hit, the move is successful, and on a 13 plus, you either get this something extra, or you execute this perfectly.
Considering the time, I think perfectly is the play here.
What does it look like as you mend the sky?
I think to everyone watching, and when I say everyone watching, I mean probably most of the entire like archipelago can see this.
Yeah.
And it's a moment where you see this, and I imagine that it's that while it's been daytime, it's the whole situation kind of makes it look like it's been night this entire time. But I think the first like when we see further out, we like realize what actual time of day it is, and we see the light blue sky, and then this, and you can see the ocean kind of like reflected the bottom of whatever like shot we're doing here, and then the colors of both shift a bit, so you can't tell what's sky and what's ocean anymore, as the ocean's just flowing towards this tear that's in the sky that's been broken, all the weather that's being messed up, as it's just washing everything away.
Beautiful. Cool. During this motion, Tamal, there's a moment where the Skybreaker makes a desperate play for Aldenon. What happens and how do you stop it?
All right. So I think the Skybreaker, it has just been impaled over and over by all these swords, right? And it looks at me, and then all of its eyes narrow in malicious glee as it shatters its own body apart into just a storm of pieces falling like a rain of comets towards the shrine. And then I stopped that somehow. Why did I think of such a good thing for it to do? Shit.
You predicted this. Not only do you stop it, you predicted
Wait.
it.
Yes,
Yeah.
I have predicted this.
I mean, you do have a whole charged battery of lightning.
I do have a whole charged battery of lightning. Good job reminding me of my resources. Yeah.
Jojo moment.
So
Next
I,
you're going to say, pulls out
yeah.
battery.
I definitely do that, and we see as these pieces are flying, each of the chunks that it has broken into still has a sword in it because it's covered in that many swords. And the camera zooms in farther, and we see that each of these swords is actually linked to each other by the fine, fine filament of that unbreakable chain that I made earlier. And I've got it all like wrapped around my fist, and then I yell into my bracer, punch it! And Jala flips a big switch on the battery, and all of the lightning flows back out through the chain, out around my hand, out into all of the swords, which just arc and spark and explode with the power of the Feather God.
Beautiful. Beautiful. And as you do that, there is a scream of no! As the Skybreaker tries but cannot reach Aldenon, as Aldenon mends the sky. And there is a moment of pause and a moment of silence. And then, stepping through the lamprey portal, Yolanda, sorry, I've got the name already. What's your maternal figure's name?
Nady.
Nady steps through the portal, looks at it, pulls something out of her pocket, a wand, taps it twice. The portal closes, looks around, goes, huh, so, what did I miss? And we're gonna cut. I would like to, real quick, do just brief after credit scenes, if anyone wants to, like, a quick montage to wrap the characters, because we're a bit over time, and I don't want to take too long, but I would like to give a little bit of closure.
This was so many wonderful climactic combat moments. We should give it levity. My suggestion for just my quick moment of levity is that Yolanda like gets out of the like crater of her body and just like looks at Aldenon, looks at the sky, and is like, in my very professional opinion, you missed a spot. She's used to like fucking like messing around with reality and everything so much. She's just like, there's just and it's like a tiny degree off, like the light, the hue of the sunlight coming in through there is just a tiny bit off, and she's like, you know what, it's fine. She lifts something out of her bag and she just chucks a flask over at Jupiter, and then she pulls a bigger one out for herself. It's like, I'm gonna be right here, everybody. Just fill me in later.
Whoa. Also, the scenes do not have to be right now. If y'all want to like cut a day, a week, a month, whatever, feel free.
I think
To-
then Jupiter's will be a bit of a time lapse.
Okay.
You know, you see him catching that flask, laying on the ground, his clothing shredded, so you only see the most sexy parts of his very chiseled body. And he takes a sip of that flask. It's like, thanks, thanks, Yolanda. And then it flashes, and he's cleaner and he's more dressed, and he's holding that same flask in front of a wooden cabin, and it's cold outside, and he takes a swig of that to try and warm himself up, and he tucks it back in his limited top. And then he knocks on the door, and the person who answers it is that hunky penguin
Pink.
from before, and you see like candles flickering on the background, and he's like, "Oh, what took you so long?"
So good.
I'm
If you were to
back.
do that, I was going to do that in like 5 minutes.
We brought him back.
Oh yes, the penguin. So I think for Tamal, we have that cool hero moment. She has all the chains wrapped around her fist. She's just exploded the Skybreaker, and then she finally starts to fall out of the air because she doesn't have anything holding her up at this point, and she falls, and then like the chains like weirdly sort of try to like catch on the portal in her arm, but like the physics gets really weird and complicated, and so then she like starts like turning and falling and spinning as she's like going out of the air, and then just before she is about to like wham into the ground, we get a jump cut to her like jumping into a hot spring, and she goes splash into that, and then comes up, and anybody else who wants to be there is there. We're all chilling in this nice spring, and she just like leans back and puts her arms up on the sides of the pool and is like, it feels good to take a day off.
I feel like we gotta zoom out, and the hot spring is in the middle of like a freezing mountain, and we realize it's only a hot spring because Tamal's forage is in it.
Yeah, it's bubbling and boiling.
This was
So
penguin
good.
location before you, but you have turned this amazing.
Mhm.
Just
Oh yeah,
three
we
angry
get the
penguins.
little mountain shack that you were in is over on the side.
Beautiful.
There's just three angry penguins just looking down like,
Oh, okay. It's my turn, I think. Unless you're done. Are
Mhm,
you done?
mhm.
Okay. Cool. So I think we're gonna start actually like right after the like what did I miss part. And it's just you see like the transformed form of Aldenon, and it just starts melting away, just turning into like a puddle at their feet. Because I mean, it's over now. Um, and then it just leaves Aldenon in their normal dress, and they're holding the sword. And like it's a little, it's damp, but it's there for a while. And then it just starts. Then the sword itself starts melting into like this shimmering puddle, the same color as what the sky was just a moment before. And I just kind of bend down, and I like whisper it. Well, time's over, but goodbye, friend. And then it talks back, which I don't think anyone else has heard before. And it just this like warbling resonating kind of voice, like brr, brr. And it's just and it's just and it's just like I won't be gone forever. I'll just be in the depths of the ocean. You know how to find me. And it just like slinks to like one of the like pools of the shrine, and like plops in and goes away. And then Aldenon leaves the shrine, and it's just the like whole village kind of tepidly like stepping out of all of the house. Not like it's not like a celebration party, just a like is it over
Yeah.
kind of gathering. Um and I think like Aldenon like so like they have like the hood, the cloak, all that stuff. They like take all that stuff off, and it's like reveals like their face probably for the first time on screen for the series. Um and I think probably their parents like step out, and they're like, welcome home. and that's where it cuts.
Perfect. I would like to add some quick montage scenes that we get real quick. So I think we get this is more like photo gallery style, what credits play type deal. So we get a scene of Jala giving Tamal the biggest hug, and like then it's like 6 photos overlaid over it of Jala pointing out every single one of Tamal's scars and injuries, and like and then berating Tamal for all the broken swords, and then hugging Tamal again.
Oh, so good.
We get another one of Aldenon leaving the village, and as you're walking away, one of your friends from the village walks up to you, and it's just like a photo of you all doing a customary salute, which sort of signals that you're welcome back whenever you want. We get another photo of Jupiter's mom calling Jupiter. And there's a few photos that don't reveal much about the conversation, but there is a conversation happening, which is not true to before. We get some more photos of Yolanda and Nase walking back into the sanctuary as Killian and Diana step out of a portal, half beaten and battled and exhausted, and then look up, and like the next photo is them just hugging, and Yolanda squashed in the middle of the three parental figures hugging one another.
Feel every part of her bones are just slightly like cracking because she got, like I said before, she got sucker punched by a god in the soul.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
We get some more fun ones. I think we get a photo of Killian showing Yolanda something wildly irresponsible, some like really silly magic, like upside down skee ball shooting with fireballs against like deadly beings. We get a shot of Jala showing Tamal just, well, you broke up all the fuck off huge swords. Here's a more fuck off huger sword. Or a fucker off her huger sword. There we go.
She's been making like it's some sort of Buster sword.
Yeah, it's a
thing.
Buster
Like,
sword, but like the other ones were Buster swords for regular sizes. This one is Buster sword relative to Tamal size. You know, like
Yes.
fucking the sword the Rook wields in Breath of the Wild, the just giant rock crusher that is giant for
Yeah.
anyone, but his is even more giant. It's that, but more. We get a fun scene of the penguin looking around, nodding. Next photo shows Jupiter standing next to the penguin and zooms out to see a slope, and then zooms out further and further and further till they realize they're like on a 6-mile ice slide slope. And then we get a photo of, I think, Aldenon going to a village and just not being judged and just being welcomed in. And then finally, the credits finish, and we look up at the moons, and for a moment, you realize this is sort of like right back in time to before all of this happened, right as the sky was mended. See the moons spell the name of they who were prophesied to save the world, as the moons say Aldenon. And then, as all the world knows that Aldenon was responsible for this. And then, a whale bus flies over, and the sprouts of the whale shoot the moons out of position, and spells instead, Chimera, Tails, Cape and Blade.
Yeah.
And there it is. That's our ending.
So good.
So good.
Oh.
All right, real quick, everyone. Plugs.
I can do mine real quick. Hi, I'm Angela. I just played the person who fought a god and won with pure logic and facts and reasoning. You can find me at Phoenix24FM on Twitter, or PhilosophyM over at Patreon, where I'm a professional writer and poet. Currently working on my own game, working title of Woodland Wanderers. I need to get back to actually working on. I am a GM over on Heroes Without Limits on Mondays, 2 p.m. EST for the Plains of Providence campaign, where we're gearing up to not quite penultimate episode, but we're getting near the end of the season for us. Our actual season finale for our City of Mist Royal Flush of Wildcards adventure is happening this next Sunday. It is going to be 3 p.m. EST, where there I'm playing another deific inclined individual who has a god of rebirth and life inside of her, and is also a hospice caregiver who's really rethinking about her line of work very intensely for reasons. But I'm there, and also I'm one half of the Queerly Yours relationship podcast, and also part of the QT POC online media publication Art for Ourselves, where we're going to be working on hopefully getting, I think, something out sometime in February or end of January. We've had a bit of a hiatus with a lot of members having personal stuff come up in their lives, but we're getting back to writing. And I'm I'm just on the internet writing and doing a lot of things, mostly a lot of trans, gay, and or queer and disabled things, just in general. I'm in a lot of places, so that's me.
Awesome, awesome. Morgan.
Wonderful.
So I'm Morgan. You can find me on Twitter at magpie_mirror, and you can and as a game designer, you can find my games at nestedgames.itch.io. Got 2 games and a playbook out now. And I've got way too many things that I'm like trying to work on. Um, I was doing the math in my head earlier, and I was like, oh no, I've gotten to number 5 at least. That's not good. So yeah, you can see that stuff when it gets done up on there, and yeah, that's what I'm up to.
Alex.
Yes. No, I want to go.
B. No.
B.
B. No, don't
Alex,
disrespect
let
Alex
me
like that.
go. Let me
Alex, you
go.
go ahead.
Okay. I'm Alex. You can find my games at fractaldragon.itch.io. I just started a new podcast, which just debuted on the 1st, Unplaytested, the show where we play games that have never been played before because they never existed before, because we will make them on the podcast over the course of an hour and then play them the next week to see if they blow us away or just blow up in our faces. So that first episode of that, we are also going to be so every week we record a podcast. Then the other week we will play the game that we just made on a stream to see how it goes. So our first time playing a game is going to be Tuesday the 8th. Check that out. We are going to be playing May the shining power of your heart bring you victory as your theme music plays, a game based on what we think Naruto is like without having seen it.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I thought that'd be relevant to your interests. We're still looking for people if you want to come on that episode.
That's amazing. God.
And yeah, that's going to be really cool and fun. You can follow us on Twitter at Unplaytested. And yeah, the door is wide open if that's a show you want to come design games on or play games on stream for. People who come and design a game get a $10 honorarium, honorarium, and that will go up as our Patreon goals increase as well. So check that out. I think it's a really fun new project. And also next week, I'm going to be on the ultimate finale episode of Haven Land Reclaimed, an absolutely wonderful all BIMPOC game that has I recently failed to help a rainbow plesiosaur kaiju fight a void tentacled megalodon, and gave the megalodon more tentacles, and then it started causing tidal waves. Like, shit is going down, man. So go check that out. Should be a very big last episode. We might not almost destroy the sky, but the Earth is up for grabs.
Nice.
Same
All right,
difference.
and I am Amr Emraz. I am your GM. Oh yeah, see that is part of it. It's you. B. Yeah. Okay.
Oh
B.
God!
Go ahead.
Respect.
I want to talk about myself. Is that too much to ask?
Go ahead, B. I had to. The opportunity was stupid.
I know. I have been
Brutal.
trying to jump in since the beginning. So, hello. My name is B Zelda. You can catch me on Twitter as @B_Zelda, or follow me on Instagram if you add an extra underscore to my name. I am a podcaster. I'm a member of the Broadswords and All Women non-binary actual play D&D podcast. I'm also a streamer. You can catch me on Q Times every Sunday, where I play a robot who is fighting the mafia. They're honestly doing their best. They don't really know what they're up to. My streaming schedule has slowed down, and I'm excited. So just follow me on socials and watch me exist in peace. And that's it.
You deserve it.
Thank you.
Ooh.
All right. Now it's actually my turn. Hi, I'm Am Ramirez. I use they, she pronouns. I am your GM, and I just want to thank you for coming along with us on this wonderful journey on this game I helped co-design. If you liked it, keep an eye out because we're working on getting a public playtest out soon. It should be pretty free or cheap. We haven't decided yet on details, but hell yeah, you should be excited. I do other game design stuff, mostly doing a lot of freelance stuff right now, so nothing big I can talk about. But slowly, surely working on my own projects. One day they will happen.
I want to plug the Chimera Twitter.
Oh, Chimera has a Twitter. It is at Chimera RPG, I believe. I hope I'm right. I know I own branding. I'm really good at this and professional and organized, as you can tell. My own Twitter is at Emeraz. That's sort of the central hub for most stuff, and is probably more active than the Chimera Twitter. But you also have to deal with my shit posts, which is a positive in my opinion. On that note, thank you all so much for joining us on this journey. I'm gonna put us on the BRB screen, and we're going to try to do a raid. Bye for the last time for us, unfortunately. But I thank you so much.